This year just started off with as we've been building this program, you all have heard me talk about how I want to build this program, and this year being proof of concept in year 3 in this build, I'm so proud of my whole staff, our program, our players, from staying resilient through which has been a challenging year for everybody, right? So, but the proof is in the pudding. From what we've done in the classroom to what we've done in the community, and being recognized by the SEC, what we've done in recruiting, and then what we've done on the court is just really it makes my heart warm just to know that everything, you can't lead if you don't have a vision. And so just seeing it all come into play, I'm just really excited about it, and great boost for us as we go into SEC conference tournament play.
John, you want to start us off with questions? You're muted, John.
Can't hear you.
Try now.
I can hear it.
There we go. We're good.
Yeah, we can hear you, John.
Okay. Zoom, let me tell you.
We had our volume down.
Yeah,
Sorry
that was
about
on
that.
me. You can go ahead.
I don't know what these projections kind of mean to you, but ESPN currently has you guys as one of the next 4 out. I know you mentioned that before. What do you kind of see the landscape looking like for you guys to get into the NCAA tournament? Like, do you think you need to win the SEC tournament? You think you need to win a couple of games? What do you think the kind of road looks like, and what's the mentality of your team heading into it?
Well, the mentality of our team is one game at a time. We feel like every game is a championship, and we want to go 1-0. So as far as the team's concerned, that's the mentality. But I'm going to be honest, like they want to play in the NCAA tournament, and so we don't know what it would take. I do know we have an incredible opportunity with playing a ranked team in Arkansas that's already in the tournament. So if we handle them, and then we have another ranked team in Tennessee that's in the tournament, I think it makes our chances really good. Just because of our conference, when Arkansas beat UConn, I think their record was like 3-8. And they beat UConn. That's how good the SEC is. We have 10 teams in the net of 50 or below. And with a couple teams not being able to play, and the Ivy League not playing this year, it's going to be hard to not look our way, because I know that the committee looks at your last games and how we've been playing, and so hopefully it works in our favor. But right now, our focus is Arkansas.
Speaking of Arkansas, you guys played them a
Yeah.
couple weeks ago, a game that wasn't televised. But what do you kind of remember from that matchup? Obviously, you guys came up a little bit short, but what do you remember from that matchup? You're like, okay, we didn't do X, Y, or Z there last time. This is what we need to do to take them down and essentially extend our season.
Yeah, well, first of all, Arkansas is a very good team. They're experienced. They have 7 seniors. They shoot the 3 ball. I think they made history the other day, making 19 threes in the game. So they have tons of weapons. What I do remember about that trip is I don't ever want to experience a trip like that again. We were in a snowstorm, so we ended up having to get dug out the snow and go to Memphis. I mean, it was a mess when we went up there, and it's not an excuse, but I remember in my interviews I said I don't even know that team that played today. And I think we all were out of sorts, even the coaches. So I don't think we gave our best effort. And I think it's going to be a good game. They're an experienced team, and we're looking forward to the challenge.
David?
Coach, if I remember correctly, talking with you after the Arkansas game, I know you were very disappointed.
Yeah.
Y'all didn't shoot well from beyond the arc that night. And, Snudda Collins against Kentucky on Sunday, she was hot from the outside. How important is it for Sonata to be on the mark in this game coming up against Arkansas?
Yeah, it's a great question. I mean, we didn't shoot. You said beyond the arc. We didn't shoot well. Period. I think in the first half we shot like 20-something%. We only scored 26 points, and then we finished the game with 74 points. So we were just incredibly out of sync that last time. I think it's going to be important for our big four to show up in order for us to win any game. You know, we're going to need Shakira, we're going to need Donetta, we're going to need Madison, we're going to need Snutter. We're going to need everybody. Listen, if we go in to play in Arkansas thinking we need to win that three-point shootout, we're going to lose. You know, this is March. However you play is how you play, and figure out how you can win. You know, Snutter made 4 threes. This last game, is that great for us? Yes. It's also great that she made the All-SEC freshman team, because you know how freshmen are. You know, this can really pump her up, and it can be scary for her, because I think that she's not even close to where she's going to be when she's done with her career here. So it's going to be huge that she knocks those down. But we are not going into Arkansas trying to make it a three-point shootout. We will lose. That is what they do.
Okay. If I can, I want to ask you a recruiting question, first roster question. A, how many spots do you have? And B, will you scour the portal at all once this season is over?
Yeah, I mean, I made a public statement in the earlier in the season that's why we didn't sign anybody early. I'm all up in the portal. That's the way we're gonna go. We're already young, so we don't need youth. You know, we are going to make some announcements comes next signing day. I'm not able to speak on them now because they hadn't signed yet. But you're going to see that we're going to address some needs that we have. You know, we're excited about AP coming back. We think she is going to be healthy. I thought with AP we're 3 to 4 games better this year. So losing her was a big blow. Obviously, Aaliyah Sorrentino took this red shirt year to get healthy. So we're excited about her going back. Sarah leaving opens up another spot for us. And so, and just like we're going to be in the portal, we don't know what's going to happen. You know, like we're going to deal with that at the end of the season. But deficiencies that we have, David, will be attended to at the end of the season. And when I tell you next year is stability, you're going to see it.
Can you tell what you're looking for?
Oh, okay, yeah. I mean, you know, I think we need point guard play. We need that. Mimi and Val have done a great job, but we need better. We need more, not better. We need more. We need better experience. You know, we need a point guard that has played in the NCAA tournament level. We do need that. We don't have that, you know? So that's something that we're going to be looking for, someone that has that mature NCAA tournament experience. Next year, we don't want to be on the bubble. We want to be in. So we need that from the PG position. And then, you know, I'd like to have another wingman or two, if I could, you know, a different type of scorer, and then, you know, another shooter won't hurt. But I think, like, Taya will be extremely better next year from shooting the three. Sometimes it just takes a year to adjust in the SEC, you know. So we think it's going to be an upgrade. I tell you that.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Nick?
Coach, you've talked for 3 years now about learning to coach through the grind of an SEC schedule. Going into Greenville now for the 3rd time, how does this feel different than maybe the last 2 years?
Well, you know, I have a different team, you know, so sometimes I felt like I was going in to eat, and I ain't had no groceries in the fridge. You know what I mean? Now I got groceries. We just got to cook it right, you know? So this is a totally different year for us. We've been relying heavily on Shakira. She is someone that has won a championship. They would have been a 1 seed last year. Her whole energy and effort and focus has like shifted the last 3 weeks. She's just been on something else. You see it in her productivity. So we're relying on her to help the other players come on. And then Maddie whole life she's played in big games, so that's why you sign All-Americans, because they just come from like healthy programs where they're used to winning. But my mentality is, you know, we don't have anything to lose. We set out wanting to be a postseason team. We feel like we can be a postseason team, even if it's not the NCAA tournament. So we're not playing with any pressure. The pressure's on everybody else. And you know that can be scary. So for other people, not us. So we're just going to come out and take it one possession at a time.
Do you address the bubble at all with your players, or is that something?
Yeah, well, they know. They know. Social media, you can't hide anything. And so they know that there's an opportunity and they want it bad. You know, I think I mentioned something to them about the NIT the other day, and they looked at me like they were disgusted. You know, like they don't even want to talk about that until they shoot their shot at trying to get in. And they're goal and task oriented like that. And so we feel like if we can win 2 games, we think that we should be considered. You know, does that put us in? No. It's just bracketology. But in the best conference in the country, 2 wins, we should be considered.
Adam?
Coach, you didn't talk about this, but just talk about the play of Madison Scott this year.
Yeah, I told Maddie this morning, you know, the reason why Madison is a franchise player for us is simple. You know, Shakira didn't come to us out of high school. Shakira went to a powerhouse program. You know, Madison is a McDonald's All-American and chose to come to a program that had 0 wins. That's franchise prospect, you know, that understands the grind, the build, what it takes, and is tough enough and believes in herself enough to say, you know what, I'm going to bet on coach. I'm going to bet on myself, and I'm going to bet on this program. And she's the biggest winner out of them all. She's the freshman of the year in the best conference in the country. And I am extremely excited to know that we're going to have her for a while.
You know, you had a highly touted group that came in last year, Shakira included.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever had that before in your career where a class that highly touted came in and actually produced from the get-go?
That's a great question. That's unique. That's a great question. When I was at Clemson, I was a recruiting coordinator and had a big play on us having the number 6 recruiting class in the country. And so, but David, it did not work. We had John Quell Jones, who plays for Connecticut Sun. I mean, we had top level talent, and I watched it crumble. And so I've learned a lot from that, and it has helped me to this day. As a head coach, Shakira is the most talented player that I've coached as a head coach. Obviously, I've coached pros before as an assistant. But as a head coach, this is the best as far as talented team for this level. At JU, I had a really talented team, but they were all transfers from Power 5. So they were really good for that level. But this has been the best. And Shakira has brought out the best in me, and it gave me a lot of experience of learning how to coach that caliber player. They think different, they act different, they move different, they need different things than just a regular, I don't want to say regular, that's a bad word, but like that's not highly talented like she is. I mean, it's a different game. I can't even explain. I would have to write, when I write my book, she's going to have a chapter, because it's like you have to, like, you know, we're playing South Carolina. She said no to Don Staley, and now we're playing them. Like, the psychological part of that, her wanting to play well, her wanting the team to play well, there's so much that goes into it. So this is my first experience, and it's been really cool. And that's what I talked to her about this morning. Just us. And the reason why this was challenging, because I didn't get to recruit her. She came on campus. The first time she met me was when she came on campus because of COVID. So, like, it took us a couple months to really learn each other, but it took some adversity for us to lean on each other. And so we're at a really good place now, and I'm excited about being able to bring in talents of her level, but also like the snooters that no one knows about, you know, like Donetta Johnson that needs a second chance. You know, I'm excited about the future. The future is bright, y'all. You know, we're not going to struggle in the recruiting part. You know, it's only up from here, seriously.